What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian Mello with Marty's Buick GMC and Chevrolet, and in today's video, we'll be talking about a new C8 split-window Corvette and asking the very important question of this series: would you buy one? If you're new to the channel or maybe just coming back for more, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for fresh weekly content on all things GM. I think you guys are really going to like this one, so let's get right into it. All right, so I've got to be honest with you guys, and I know I'm not going to be alone here because I personally think the split-window Corvette is one of the best-looking cars of all time.
See if you don't think this is the most exciting car in America today. Know what makes this car so exciting besides its obvious style? It's the Corvette's not-so-obvious engineering.
In 1963, the Corvette Stingray model marked the beginning of the Corvette second generation, and it was the first ever production Corvette coupe with a fastback body, long hood, and raised wind split that ran the length of the roof and then continued down the back of the car on a pillar that, of course, split the rear window into right and left halves, hence the name, the split-window Corvette. The 63 not only had a dramatic new design, though, it also had some newfound handling prowess. And thanks to some weight savings, acceleration was also improved, despite no change in horsepower. All 1963 examples came with 327 engines, making 250 horsepower standard, with optional variants that made 300, 340, and even 360 horsepower, thanks to the Rochester fuel-injected engine, a cornerstone piece that absolutely set the bar for Chevrolet's future performance. 360 horsepower back in the early 60s, I mean, like, let that marinate for a second. 360 horsepower is still pretty good now. Believe it or not, although the 1963 Corvette was very well received by the public, its most iconic feature today, that being the split window, was not. And that was due to the center pillar impeding outward visibility. Lots of customers were complaining, and in fact, in many cases, customers were actually removing the split glass panels and replacing them with a single window. Something that would make most people sick to even think about doing nowadays. I mean, even dealers were doing this. And because of that, of course, the split window design was removed after just 1 year. And for 1964, the Corvette received just a single piece of back glass. Sad, I know. I mean, let's be real. Who cares about being able to see anyways, especially when you look this good? Now, GM obviously had no clue back then that they had just created an icon and that the 1963 split-window Corvette would be one of the most sought-after Corvettes ever by collectors. In fact, the most recent sold listing for one that I could find was this one right here on Bring a Trailer that went for a whopping $190,000 back on February 2nd of this year. Not a bad investment, I'd say, for a car that cost, what, $4,000 when it was new-ish? Now, when GM began designing the C8 Corvette, Chevrolet Performance Exterior Design Director Tom Peters had actually intended to bring the iconic split window back as a design element. After all, in the modern era of backup cameras and mirrors and sensors and everything else in between, oh God, we got autopilot now? I mean, come on. The old visibility concerns from 63 shouldn't be much of an issue today. And if you've ever driven a 5th or 6th gen Camaro, you guys know Chevy doesn't really care all that much about visibility concerns. I mean, come on. However, when the team explored the idea of bringing the split window to the C8, at the time they said they just couldn't make it work. Tom Peters actually said, quote, "It was too literal. However way we did it, it came across as forced." Well, perhaps they didn't try everything. Because if we look at this image right here by a super talented artist who goes by the name Rain Prisk, we can see just what a C8 split-window Corvette would look like. And I'll just go ahead and be the first to say it. This looks way better, in my opinion, than the new production C8 that we have now. I mean, anyone with me? Dropping the more traditional hatch design, the C8 split window brings the fastback look to life. We get a much longer roof with vented B-pillars, helping, of course, to feed cool air into the engine compartment. We've got a much cleaner and more rounded look in the rear, and of course, we've got the split window rear window, paying homage to the 1963 Corvette. Now, this design obviously also sits much lower than the production C8, and it also appears that we have black single-center lug wheels wrapped in Michelin race tires. Maybe that won't come on the production one. But the more time that I spend looking at this design, the more and more that I fall in love with it. The 1963 Corvette was different, and that difference is pretty much what helped to create that icon. And while I'm sure some Corvette purists are glad to see the iconic split-window design stay in 1963, I'm willing to bet that others would have loved to see this vision become a reality as well. But Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And of course, answer the very important question of the series, the whole point of it, and let me know, would you buy one? I personally love this look, and I would without question buy one. Unless, of course, I wanted to wait around and see what the Z06 looked like. As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you made it this far into the video and you enjoyed the content, please help me out by smashing that like button and subscribing. It helps me out in a huge way. Don't forget to check out my friends over at gmpartsdepartment.com for all your GM OEM parts needs, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks again, guys, and take care. Man, just look at this thing. The quad exhaust. Damn. Give me that split window.